Hey everybody, welcome back to microbeerreviews.com. This is a video that I have been waiting to do now for weeks. It is the 2014 top 10 beers on microbeerreviews.com. Now, before I get started, everyone knows, if you've watched my videos, I like IPAs, I like stouts, I don't like Belgians, I don't like triples, porters, nut browns, I'm middle of the road. So you're going to see kind of a weighted side of IPAs here. But most people will agree with me that these beers are worth being in a top 10 for the 2014 craft beer list of microbeerreviews.com. So I'm going to get started here with number 10 with a beer that is completely different than what I'm used to reviewing at a higher level. This is from the Terrapin Brewing Company out of Atlanta. This is a bomber bottle that was a limited release that made a huge impact on me when I tried it. I bought 2 of these. I drank one of them without doing the review. It was $14 for the bomber bottle. This is the Moo-HooChiato. Moo-HooChiato. This is a chocolate espresso milk stout. This thing right here it left such a huge impact when I drank it, and it was one of those limited releases that I thought, I can't not put this in my top 10 because there are so many beers I tried that just weren't along the calibers of this. 6.0 ABVs, IBUs of 30. It was a massive cocoa chocolate espresso. Had this real smoothness to it. That's that milk stout part to it. The espresso roast. It was absolutely. I did not want to buy this. And this, I'm spending way too much on number 10, but I didn't want to buy this because it was $14 for a bottle, and they said if you try this, the beer store I go to, you will absolutely love it. It was perfect between the balance of the espresso, the coffee, the malt. It had that nice little kind of sweetness to it of the chocolate. It was well worth it, and it made the top 10. Number 9. So, here, you have to see pictures now. Celebration from Sierra Nevada. This beer, I think, is very much underpublicized. This is their fresh hop IPA, and this was one of those beers that I always think every year should be rated better. This beer, every year comes out, it comes in a 12-pack. It's like $14 for the 12-pack. And if you read about it, it says, this has been offered since 1981. It's one of the earliest examples of an American-style IPA. And it is perfectly, in my opinion, balanced with the citrus and pine notes combined with the 3 classic hops. So you've got Chinook, Cascade, and Centennial hops, all in this beer that is extremely well priced. It's very consistent, and I think everyone who likes hops, especially during the holidays, should buy this beer. This made my top 10. Alright, number 9. So number 9 is another great example of what I think craft beers have done to this world. Lagunitas sucks. So in 2014, Lagunitas sucks only came in a big bomber bottle. I only think I got 2 of them. They were like $9 a bomber. But the cool thing about this beer, when this was brewed in 2011, it was originally brewed because there was a shortage of capacity within the Lagunitas brewery at the time. Granted, they only had 1 brewery at the time because they were doing construction to expand. So they did this experimentation. It was 7.85% ABVs. They were going to do it year-round. At the time, they did it in 6-packs. This year, they only brought it out in the big bomber 32-ounce bottles. It has this amazing aroma to it, and it's got a ton of sweetness behind it. That brown sugar kind of it's got this kind of, I mean, it's this palate pop to it that just you can't describe. And it it has a drinkability with a sweetness behind it. No floral, no pine notes. It just has one of, I think, the masters of Lagunitas that has made them famous. The #1 growing brewery in 2014. All right, so number seven. This is going to throw everyone else for a loop too. Highland Brewing Company Cold Mountain Winter Ale. I thought this was one of the best winter ales on the market this year and in many years. Highland is out of Asheville, North Carolina. This particular beer used to only be available in big 32 ounce or I think it's 32 ounce. No, 32 ounce growlers, but they have expanded it into, they made 12 packs this year. It's only 5.2% ABVs. IBUs are only 28, and it's available for a very short window of time. But what's great about this beer, and it comes out at the perfect time, the first couple cold snaps, it's spicy, it's got a nice kind of hop balance with the malt, but I think why I like this so much is it's got a ton of vanilla in it, backed behind a little bit of hazelnut, and it is beyond drinkable. It is one of the best winter ales on the market. I think Highland Brewing Company, they've done a great job with Gaelic Ale, their Cashmere IPA, but this beer right here, I think, really puts them on the map and shows everybody that they can really turn it up in the seasons. And I think this was one of the best winter ales on the market and one of the best beers that was produced in 2014. So Cold Mountain Winter Ale is number 7. All right, number 8. Goose Island brings in, I remember having this in March. Goose Island, Illinois. It was a 4-pack. It was about $12 a 4-pack, and it was one of these beers that the first time I bought it, I didn't want to buy it. I bought it anyway, and I was absolutely thrilled how good it was. I was told it might not be produced again, but it was 9% ABVs, 95 IBUs. And the really cool thing about this, yet again, you had Chinook, Cascade, Citra hops, Meridian hops, which I'd never heard of. And then they had the classic, like two-row pale malts, special pale malts. But it was one of those beers, the minute you cracked it open, I know you can't see this, but it had this huge hop symbol on it. It smelled so good, and it tasted even better. It was one of those beers that for an Imperial IPA left a huge impression on you of fresh, very balanced, and it was one of those limited release things. It came out in February. I got it in March. I think I got 2 4-packs and it was gone. But it was absolutely phenomenal when I drank it. It had this extremely well citrus background to it. It was very clean to drink, and it was absolutely one of the best IPAs on the market in 2014. So that was the Illinois, coming in at number 6. Number 5, a beer I purchase all the time, and I am thrilled to say Ballast Point has now dropped the price from $18 a 6-pack to $14 a 6-pack because of competition in the market. Sculpin IPA. This is one of those beers that if you like IPAs and you haven't tried it, then you're missing out. This beer is an absolute definition of an Indian Pale Ale. It's got sweetness to it with the fruit, the peach, the mango, the apricot, the lemons. It's got all this sweetness to it. It's very subtle, but then it's got what they call the sting of the Sculpin with the hop flavor behind it. The Sculpin fish is on the front of it. It is one of the best IPAs on the market and one of the best beers ever produced, in my opinion. It's expensive, and that's why a lot of people don't buy it. But it's truly one of those beers that was originally started from a homebrew project. And Ballast Point has done a phenomenal job of keeping it consistent. It originally only came in cans. Now it's in bottles, then bombers. It's all over the place now, and it is one of the best IPAs on the market. If you haven't tried it, you need to try this. Number 4. I normally have this as a standby, always in my beer refrigerator. Dirt Wolf from Victory Brewing Company. Dirt Wolf is a double IPA, and it was one of those beers, you buy it in a 4-pack, and I swear to you, I bought it for the first time, and I almost had this attitude like I wasn't gonna like it. It is absolutely phenomenal. 8.7% ABVs. Going back again to the hops here, it's got Chinook, it's got Citra, it's got Mosaic, and it's got Simcoe hops. Four of probably the most well-known hops in the market. But the thing about this beer, and I don't know how they do it, it is extremely drinkable with high ABVs at 8.7. You don't taste any of that stuff, meaning the kind of alcohol flavor to it. It's one of those beers that I think kind of branches people from a pale ale to a double IPA. It was one of those beers too that had, let me see if I can find this on their website. It empowers brews and with a bite and a character from the 11th century. Dirt Wolf is a tribute to these untapped veins which we rise from the earth with the veracity of wolf among sheep. And that's Dirt Wolf. I mean, this beer is one of those beers that you get so excited when you first try it that you want to go buy more. Like, you only bought a 4-pack, and I better go back to the store the next day. It's already drank 2, and I want to buy another 4-pack because I don't want to run out of it. It is absolutely phenomenal. It balances sweetness, hops. Victory, I think, has really risen to the top, especially in 2014, to try to keep up with Lagunitas. It is absolutely one of the best double IPAs on the market. It's awesome. Alright, so now the top 3, drum roll please. Number 3, 10 Fidy from Oskar Blues Brewing Company. I don't know where to start with this beer. I think this is probably one of the best beers ever produced on the market, and it's as I drop it in a can. But I can tell you all about that. It was totally unplanned, but we're going to keep going. 10 Fidy is a black as black can be stout. It's in a can. It's what they call half-baked, fully roasted. If you read it on the website, it says this is a titanic, immensely viscous stout loaded with tons of chocolate flavor, caramel, and coffee with a hefty IBU of 98 underneath this blanket of malt. And that is the beauty of 10 Fidy. You have all these massive flavors of chocolate and coffee and caramel, and it just smooths it down with the malt, and is one of the most drinkable beers on the planet. ABVs are 10.5%. And this is why this beer is so good. Because it comes in a 4-pack. The 4-pack is $15, I think, at this point. And it is so worth it. Because it is one of the smoothest beers on the planet. It is a black stout. You pour it in the glass, and you think, there's no way I could drink one of these. Much less 2 of these in one night, which I don't recommend. But has been done before. It is the smoothest stout on the market. It is so well, perfectly balanced. Every single thing they put in that beer, the coffee, the caramel, the malt, the hops, they all perfectly just level themselves out, and when you drink it, you'll understand. It is, without a doubt, should be in the top 3. Number 2. Here we go. This is a brand new beer from Victory. 2 Victory beers in the top 5. This is number 2. This is called Hop Ranch. This just came out in 2014. 4-packs are $10. It's an Imperial Indian Pale Ale. It's 9%. It's Mosaic and Azacca hops with Pilsner malts. It's a very, very, what I call simple beer. But what they did was they took all of this hop character, meaning they took all these whole cone hops you can see on the label, then they smashed them with mango and pineapple, and it was one of those things that just blended together perfectly. It was one of those beers that when you take the whole cone flower of the hop, you brew it fresh, or excuse me, you pick it fresh, then you brew it fresh, you squeeze all that juice out of there, and then you take just 2 fruits, mango and pineapple, and you smash them together in this insanely fresh, hoppy beer. You come out with an Imperial IPA that was absolutely phenomenal. This was another one of those where I bought a 4-pack. I didn't expect much. It was $10. I went back 2 days later and bought 2 more 4-packs. It was one of those things that has, the minute you pour it, it smells great. The minute you take a first sip, it smells wonderful, or tastes wonderful, excuse me. It's completely filtered, but it has the complete balance that these beers are looking for in the craft beer world these days. What I mean by that is, it was sweet, it was hoppy, it was fresh, it was smooth, it was a good price point, and it had, I mean, this was almost number one. This is a must try. This beer is absolutely phenomenal. It just came out. Alright, and number one, and I hate to say it, but it might be number one next year as well. This is without a doubt my favorite beer of the year, this year and last year. I look forward to it. I checked the website, and that would be Stone Enjoy By. I think this is the best beer produced on the market right now. It is a double IPA. It has huge floral notes. It is extremely fresh. It's brewed not to last. There's no preservatives in it. The website has a countdown on it. They don't ship every single date, so the enjoy by date is when it's good until. It's one of those beers that when you try it, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I love this beer because it's fresh. It does something that a lot of other beers don't. And I think it's going back to Hop Ranch. You have an extremely powerful double IPA. ABVs are always over 9%. It costs around $9 a bottle, and it's not made to last. And I think that's something that craft beer has done to make themselves successful, and I applaud them for that. This is the reason why I think craft beer is so successful. It's brewed to taste fresh. They tell you the date it's bottled. They tell you the date you shouldn't drink it after. It's got this enormous, powerful, extremely sticky, kind of resinous, floral, everything's in there, piney notes, and it's just, it fills your mouth, and you literally want to preserve every single ounce and sip of the beer while you're having it because it tastes that different than other beers. And so, number one on my list is without a doubt the Stone Enjoy By series. I think this is the best brewed beer on the market for what you're paying for, what's inside, and what it tastes like. So, I hope you enjoyed our top 10 list of beers for 2014 on microbeerreviews.com. We appreciate you watching. We thoroughly look forward to doing 2015 top 10. We are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we upload all the time. We appreciate you watching, and we will see you again real soon. Cheers.